All right, I recently watched the ItalianSpartacus video about the good order and the bad order for enchanting. So if you want to do weakness stacking in the Oblivion Remastered, you have to put weakness to magic after your weakness to element. For example, if I use this spell, weakness to magic and then weakness to fire is my second effect, I can hit him 3 or 4 times with this and then hit him with a fire spell right after, and it will not do a crazy amount of damage. It's hurting him, but it's not killing him instantly. Where then, if I load it and switch to this good order, where weakness to fire is first and weakness to magic is at the very end, now if I hit him with 3, we'll do, I don't know, let's do 4 or 5 of these. Now if I hit him with that same fire damage spell, I should do a lot of damage. And he's dead, one shot. So it's much more powerful. Whenever you're doing weakness stacking, you have to do weakness to magic last. I don't know why that is. It doesn't actually quite make sense to me. I can't wrap my brain around it, but it's clearly the case. If you're curious more about the actual math behind weakness stacking, you can watch my Destruction Deep Dive Part 1. That is based on classic Oblivion, but it functions almost exactly the same except this experience gain for the destruction skill. But everything else in that video will be good. Next, I want to test out and show you weakness to normal weapons. So I've had a lot of people tell me that weakness to normal weapons does not improve physical damage. And if you use a scroll, it just removes that resistance that ghosts have to normal weapons, for example. But I can test out, I'll make my first 5 hotkeys here, 100% weakness to normal weapons. And I don't want to use a bleed weapon. We'll use a Dwarven War Axe. So I'll do 1, 2, and this is on master difficulty, by the way, 3, 4, 5. We hit him with all 5 of them, and we can kill him decently quickly. Now, it's not crazy damage, but remember, this is on master. When I tried this without master difficulty, or without weakness to normal weapons, I would never kill him. If you look at this Dwarven War Axe with nothing stacked on him, even a power attack, it's very, very minimal damage. I'm not killing this guy. So there was clearly more damage with the weakness to normal weapons stacked up. Next thing to test, does weakness to magic improve your weakness to normal weapon effect? So what we're going to use is we're going to have weakness to magic second here and have weakness to normal weapons on target. And as you notice, that's in the good order. So if weakness to magic is improving by weakness to normal weapons, it should at the end get to a crazy level where it's just going to one-shot him with this axe. So we'll try doing 4 or 5. Honestly, we can even do quite a bit because I'm not alternating between multiple weakness skills. You do need quite a bit to get this stacked fairly high, but theoretically, his weakness to normal weapons should be getting into the thousands of percents with this many casts. But as you see when I attack him, so I want you to compare that to that thousands of percents compared to 30%. So yes, the weakness to magic does seem to be improving the weakness to normal weapons effect, because normally if I just recast the same spell, it would not improve the effect. So if I just cast this one spell here, this one, weakness to normal weapons without weakness to magic, it would just refresh the duration. It wouldn't stack. Weakness to magic causes that weakness to normal weapons to stack. So what happens is, because he has so much weakness to magic on him, each time I cast it, the weakness to normal weapons and the weakness to magic effect is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So by the end there, I did do quite a bit of damage to him. So weakness to magic does improve the 30% weakness to normal weapons that you will apply on your blade. So if you can apply a bunch of weakness to magic, it will make that weakness to normal weapons even better. I actually didn't think that was going to happen. You could probably tell from the way I was talking. I'm not going to re-edit that. So you just watch me learn something in real time. Okay, so just to double check, just to make sure, I don't want it to be that what is happening is that normal weapons as a spell stacks with weakness to magic, because I didn't think it would. I want to actually make sure I'm going to use just weakness to magic. I'm only going to use power attacks. And so because it's power attacks, I should not do any bleed damage. I want to just make sure weakness to magic is improving that 30% physical damage increase that's coming from my power attack for my master perk here with my claymore. So before he kills me, we'll do a power attack. So that should apply the debuff, and we do another power attack and he's dead. So clearly that weakness to normal weapons, that 30%, is absolutely being applied from weakness to magic. Lastly, and I think this one is the most exciting, and this is actually why I'm making the video. So all of that you might have seen before, but if we do weakness to magic, I'm going to just do these 3 spells. So if you look at these, hide the shortcuts, we have just weakness to magic 100%. Now I'm going to cycle between them so I can get to pretty high weakness to magic. And I'm just going to use a basic Dwarven Dagger. Note, This test only works because I have over 75 blade skill, because at 75 blade skill, I have a chance to make opponents bleed. Now, if you didn't know, this is on master difficulty. Oh, I missed him. And at master difficulty, this guy has a ton of health. I would not kill him very quickly. But with weakness to magic, you would think, okay, well, are you going to power attack and get a really powerful weakness to normal weapons? No, I'm going to do a basic attack because my basic, oops, he's too fast, get back here. My basic attacks have a chance to make him bleed. And the second he bleeds, well, those are boosted by weakness to magic. So the second he got a bleed effect on him, he instantly died. So the only magic effect I had on him there was not weakness to normal weapons, it was just weakness to magic. I had stacked it very high. If you know how weakness stacking works, rotating between 3 of them is an insane multiplier, but I am level 20 something, 21, that's a bandit on master difficulty, and I instantly killed him with a single bleed tick. So that damage can get pretty high. What this means for my builds, let's talk about the summary here. So first, weakness to normal weapons does improve physical damage. Now the blade perk is only 30% for 10 seconds. So 30% for 10 seconds isn't that great. However, weakness to magic does improve the weakness to normal weapons effect. So if you have 100% weakness to magic on your enemy and you hit them with a power attack, that might be getting them 60% weakness to normal weapons. Now, sadly, that still really sucks, because what you could do instead of a power attack is use weakness to magic, and it apparently improves the bleed damage from your blade perk. So if you're able to weakness stack and you want to rely on just physical damage instead of weakness stacking and then doing shock damage, for example, you're going to not want to use a power attack because it's your regular attacks that have the chance to make them bleed. So sadly, power attacks with blade, that perk seems to be pretty bad on higher difficulties, but the perk for bleed does make blade really good. In fact, I would argue it makes it so good that blade should definitely replace blunt as the Battlemage weapon of choice instead of using blunt. Now, I chose blunt originally because I thought blade would not be part of the damage formula, and blunt has a silence, blunt has a shield. That early game, that shield might be helping you to get to the armor cap. It has defensive and utility uses. But blade now on master difficulty seems like the way to go, because that bleed could be just another component of your damage. It's boosted by weakness to magic, and because of that, it's capable of decimating your enemies. The last thing I want to show you is I tested out the speed stat. So I wasn't sure if speed worked differently in the remaster than it did in OG Oblivion. And I had actually some people on my Discord were helping me test out different speeds. 0 speed still appears to be about 90 movement. And if I unequip my gear, that speed still seems to be what I would expect it to be, the same as the classic Oblivion game. At 0 speed, you move at 90. The sprint is a speed increase, but honestly, I think while you're playing, it feels more impactful, but I think this is only about a 15-ish% speed increase. I mean, if you're watching this, I had somebody else test it out and they came up with 15%. It's not that crazy. I am sprinting right here. So this is not, here we go. This is not sprinting, and this is sprinting. So it's not that dramatic. Next, it seems that at 0 speed, it appears that you do not run twice as fast until you get to 225 speed. So that was really the easiest way to test it with my own formulas. So I can quickly, with the console, change my speed to 225 and then test, am I going exactly twice as fast? And with my timing of this recording, it looks like I'm going twice as fast. And so that means the formulas do line up pretty well with what I expected them to be. And this is sprinting. That still seems to be about the same 15% increase. That is kind of hard to guess, so maybe other people who have better eyes and timing methods could get a better percentage of that. This isn't meant to be a deep dive about speed. It is just meant to show you that speed seems to work the same as it does in Classic, where I already had that formula that was in the UESP, but there seem to be people who were under the impression that going from 50 to 100 speed was doubling your speed, and that does not seem to be the case. So without sprinting, this is with 50 speed, no equipment on. I'll unequip my weapon to make sure that's not messing with anything, because encumbrance does mess with your speed. This is 50 speed. Let's count from here to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 seconds or so. If you change it to 100 speed, oops, that's 10. Just kidding. If you change it to 100 speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a movement speed increase. It's definitely not 6 seconds. You can notice it, 100 speed is faster than 50, but it's clearly not double. I'm not moving twice as fast gaining 50 speed. It's not as noticeable as people think it is. And again, that lines up with the formulas that I had. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. I hope you are as excited as I am about this finding with the bleed damage and weakness to magic. All right, that's all I got. Thanks.